and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown letter.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Hey y'all, we back again, man. I got Chief on, man. See, we got him. We really got him. We got him again, man. We got the map. We know they switched the maps around. They tried to. I mean, they almost had us though. They almost had us, but we coming to let them know now. Hey, we on to the map game. We really been on to the map game, but this is a public service announcement. Notice the agent, notice the principal. Spread this around to all the chiefs on the land about the switches of the maps. Right? So we got so many receipts on this, and I got Chief on. You know what I'm saying? It's about to really go get cracking up in here for real, though. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. You want to say something, Chief?
Well, when we get started, we talk about the maps. And remember, we already went over the maps being upside down.
Right.
South is up, north is down. And this is why we disoriented. Right?
That's fact.
So if we disoriented, that means that our perception of reality is turned around backwards on us.
Right.
So we can't gain our center because we off balance. It's to keep us off balance. But once you find your center, then you can find your balance in all things. Right? So when we talk about understanding the maps, for instance, the current map that we use is what we call a Eurocentric map. That means that Europe is centered at the center of the map, which make all the surrounding lands look much, much smaller than Europe. Now, when they switched the map, they also had to change the orientation of the perception. Everything is coming from European-centered views. That's Empress. I got to call her back later. So if everything is centered from Europe, this is where you get your out of Africa theory. Because a European could never dispute the fact that their knowledge base stems from Kemet, right? And the cultures from the continent.
Mm-hmm.
So they give us the European perspective. And they say that everybody came out of Africa. Okay. And they expect us to believe that. But we have some anomalies that they can't account for. Right? They have a guy in South Carolina who got the oldest Y chromosome on the planet. He don't got no ancestry in Africa. The oldest fully intact female skeletal remains was found over here in the Carolina. Right? We have artifacts. We done went over this already. 5 million years old, 12 million years old, hammers, spark plugs. Right? So we was already over here. But there's nature. The observation in nature will tell you more than what the scientist is telling us. The Maine lion is not native to Africa and is not native to Asia. How did it get there and how long has it been there? Right? Think about that. If you go back to the Sumerians, they got a statue of Enki standing there holding the lion like a cat in his arm. The lion, the Maine lion, is native to North America. So the Maine lion had to be exported from America during the time of the Anunnaki reign in Sumer. They call that the antediluvian period because the story of Utnapishtim or Ziusudra is the conclusion of the Sumerian civilization. Right? So that means before the Noah story in the Bible, somebody was taking lions, Maine lions from America to Sumer. That's not all. The elephant is not native to Africa. It's not native to India. The elephant is native to North America, but when you go back into antiquity, you find that it was elephants in the early Aryan empires. You find African tribes for thousands of years been using elephant motifs, but the elephant is native to the Americas. Right? But we supposed to think everybody came out of Africa. When the out of Africa theology or theory was developed, they didn't know about America. Everything related to America came about as part of a Afrocentric, Eurocentric viewpoint after the fact. So anything they discover over here, they have to fit it into their timeline from the European or Eurocentric perspective. Right? So that's not all. The leopard and the jaguar is the same cat. But one live in Africa and one live in the Americas. The jaguar is not native as a leopard to Africa. It's native to Central America. Right? Your camel that's so popular in all of your Arab motifs is not native to the Middle East.
That's right.
The camel is native to Central America.
That's facts.
Okay, now, if you look in the histories of the people who popularized these animals around the world, in order for them to popularize the animal, they had to some kind of way get it from the Americas. So what's the real old world? You have pyramids in Central America that's older than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Let that sink in. If you go up and down the Nile River, you will find in the Sudan, they also have small pyramids. Those were called temple pyramids. Right? They were lesser versions of bigger pyramids, but they older than the Great Pyramid. The first one that they said that was attempted was called the Step Pyramid. But that's not how it originally looked, because it was supposed to be what we call a shelf pyramid, which was built in layers like they have over here. Problem was during the Pyramid Wars, it got hit by a bomb. And the bomb destroyed most of the outer shell of it. So now you see the remnant. It looked like it was melted for a reason, because it was melted. We be believing that the reality that we live in is the only life we ever had, because that's how the social engineering designed it to be. Your church made you think that reincarnation was some devil shit. But it tell you right in the New Testament that John the Baptist and the Emmanuel was the reincarnation of Elijah and Elisha. They say Elijah and Elisha has come back. But see, they keep confusing the story of Isis being blended with the story of Horus in the New Testament. That's where the confusion come in. Because they taking two people's story and making it into one person. And that's why they masculinize Isis into Jesus, to confuse you about what to look for. But when you go to that part where it said that the meek shall inherit the earth, the word for meek is effeminate. The feminine shall inherit the earth. So why would the feminine inherit the earth unless it's already they shit?
Right.
Yeah, but it all start with disorienting us by changing the perception of where we at on the map. We thinking north is up and south is down, east is west and west is east. And the only way that the sun can rise in the west is by flipping the map the right side. If you flip the map in its correct orientation, sun don't rise in the east, it rises in the west. And so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Think about that for a minute. So the sudden appearance or the sudden realization is all it is. It's not an actual appearance because it's always been there. But to realize what's always been there is an awakening process. If we don't know that the maps used to be south up, north down, we will never know what is meant by the South shall rise again. The South represented the matriarchal lineage of the tribes of the land, because it was the motherland that was supposed to be inheritable right of the earth. So you go back to the order that it's supposed to be in. You put it in the order it's supposed to be in, everything run the way it's supposed to run, and we got heaven on earth. Roll the corn, Elder. What you got?
Oh, hey, y'all, hit that like. We got 508. Send it to everybody, y'all, right now. Tell them Chief on, man. We about to get busy. Tell you, man. Like the boys in New York, so.
All of them was original places and place names of places over here, and was at a later date transferred overseas to confuse us, because when the European came to power, what he did was change up chronology and geography, or the time-space coordinates, to disorientate us. So we don't know where we at. Here's an old map of America, showing old names, and here you have Tripoli, Morocco, Tunis, Turkey, Atlantis, Egypt, Patmos, the Globe Theater, which was tied in with Shakespeare's Globe Theater, Francis Bacon and all of them, Moab, the Moabites, Cairo, Illinois, because where that part of the Nile or the Mississippi comes, they call that whole region Little Egypt, and you have a place there right there called Cairo. Mecca, Yucatan, Lebanon, all these are place names that's still here to this day.
You went to sleep. And you forgot who you were. You need to wake up from the land of Nod. You need to know who you are. You need to re-educate yourself. You need to do some research.
You say that this is the Garden of Eden. There it is.
I think about in the center of the garden, north and south. The Garden of Eden, east and west, is not over 10 miles wide, paralleling the river from Chattahoochee down to Bristol. But you're right in the center of it here at Torrey State Park, north and south, between Chattahoochee and Bristol.
Well, now, according to the Bible, the Garden of Eden must have trees pleasant to the sight, and it must have gold and onyx stone and a river of 4 heads. Is this one of the rivers?
This is the Pison River, which is mentioned in the 2nd chapter of Genesis, when it says, a river went out of Eden to water the garden and parted and became into 4 heads. The tree life from Chattahoochee to Bristol is the largest of any other area in the world. The Bible names 28 trees. The best authority on earth have identified 27 of them here, and many more, including the gopherwood tree. The Bible names those 4 river heads as the Pison, the Gihon or Gihon, the Hiddekel, and the Euphrates. The first one was the Pison. The Bible says that is it that compasseth the land of Havilah, which was North Florida before the flood, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is G-O-O-D. The Bible used that adjective to describe the North Florida gold to further tie down the exact location of the Garden of Eden. The next verse says there's also bdellium there, which is nothing but rosin out of pine trees that God instructed Noah to pitch the ark out of, and onyx stone, which is marble. And North Georgia, right where this great river has its source, is one of the largest marble areas in the world. The Tate Marble Quarry and company there at Tate, Georgia, is one of the largest. So the natural monuments definitely mentioned and described in the Bible as being related to the Garden of Eden are here, and they are not anywhere else on this earth.
Well, not only are we...
We ain't got to roll the whole thing, but
You went to sleep. And you forgot who you were. You need to wake up.
the land of Nod.
Land of Nod.
All right, so Nod, like we could get it's a whole, you can get into all of the perspectives on what they mean. But what I'm saying is, I remember reading in the Lost Books of Enki, Zechariah snitching. When you look up where America, what's the definition of America in his glossary, he say America is the land of Nod, right? And then Empress was just talking about it, and then by this dude talking about the gopher wood only being found in Florida, that they made this art for him. Okay, and then it came going east of the guard. So yeah, so we thinking that all of the biblical lands or whatever, even if they wasn't using the same terms, the land mass or geographical mass of the storyline is taking place over here. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to, if you even want to say they stole that from Sumerian tablets from the Emo New Elish, because all these different tablets, the Bible was stolen from it. So they didn't just make it up on top of their head. They copied that shit down from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, all these different books, and then try to sell it back to us out of the King James joint. But what I'm saying is, what's your take on this being that the land where life started, where the Garden of Eden, all that, you know, what the storyline they give? What you think on that, Rod?
Well, I'm diehard Mississippi Clay Dirt walking. From my perspective, everything originated around what we call the Fertile Crescent of the Gulf, from the mouth of the Mississippi all the way around to the mouth of the Amazon. And if you look in that complex, some of the complexes in that geography, you'll find Teotihuacan, you'll find the Nazca lines, you find a lot of ancient civilizations that's older than Kemet. This is what they keep trying to ignore, right? Now, when you go to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, he's describing his ship rising up, traveling to the land of the hairy barbarian, as he called it, the land of Kim, right? And then he talked about how he subdued the hairy barbarian and he used them as a labor force to build the temple complexes, right? So they were using the labor of the people from the area, but he didn't come from there. When you start doing your Egyptian studies, it always say that Thoth originate from the home of the gods, right? So where do the gods live at? They live in North America.
The city of the gods.
Right. In North America, like, first of all, those biblical cities on those maps was them attempting to decipher ancient maps that they got from Kemet and from Sumer that the Vatican still have. They were using the geography of this land to try to determine if this was the biblical reference location. Most of those words that's being used is not 2,000-year-old words. A lot of those Hebrew and names, biblical names, those words are not older than the civilizations that was here. You'd be different if you was taking it from hieroglyph or taking it from cuneiform, because everything after that is after what's known as the Under Dryas period, right? That was a result of a massive nuclear holocaust, right? Or the Younger Dryas is what it's called. And it was from a nuclear holocaust, the disaster that almost ended humanity, right? So then they go through the nuclear winter. We going through one now. Everybody think this cold is because of the weather machines, but they don't know that in order for it to rebalance, it got to go to cold zero to reset when they turned all of the weather machines off. You're going to have what's equivalent to a nuclear winter, but it just won't last as long. It might only last 1 or 2 seasons, where a nuclear winter can last 1,000 years. So we don't want to go into another nuclear holocaust, because that's going to destroy civilization all over again. And anybody talking about dropping bombs, that's all posturing for theatrical performance in front of the people, because we already said we wasn't going to war. So since we already said it, they had to follow suit. We've not going to do no nuclear war on Earth. We had enough of them. Hiroshima and Nagasaki was not the first rodeo. And then you got to remember, before they dropped them bombs, they test fired multiple bombs. Right? So we ain't finna do that because that's the dumbest shit in the world. We're trying to go into the knowing phase. We can't be operating in ignorance.
Yeah. We're going to be rolling another one.
This is mind-blowing how much they lied to us. Check this out.
This is the ground plans of the Louisiana Purchase Explosion, St. Louis, Missouri, 1904. Keyword 1904. Now, first look at that. You see how the south is up north and the north is down south, and the west is east and the east is west. So you see how they flipped already? They didn't flip the compass. So now everybody's direction is off whenever they're looking for something particularly, or whenever they're trying to see where something is or what something is. So key word that I want people to see, yeah, because north ain't south and south ain't north and east ain't west and west ain't east. Little do people know, so they kind of got your brains a little going. Now, I want you to notice there were a lot of things that were over here. Ground plans, it says 1904, right? So Morocco wasn't even founded till 1952. So what is this? You sure this ain't the ancient Jerusalem and ancient Morocco right over here next to Illinois California was right over here. Temple Inn. You see Japan, right? You see a bunch of little places. Hold on. You see Great Britain. Yes, this is on this land. You see Sweden. You see Cuba. You see China. You see Belgium. Yep, Austria. All of these places were over here. All of these places, Italy. All of these places were over here, right on this land specifically, right? And this little thing that you see right here, you see how they got it a sky view? This is a sky view. This is this that I was just showing you. This is what this looked like from an east to west view. This is what that looked like, baby. When they got over here, that's what they saw, baby. They know what they saw, baby. Greatness. Come on, Moors, stand up. They know what they saw, baby. Greatness. You think we ain't had this whole land on lock? Come on, man. Come on, man. Slaves ain't built no White House. We did. We built all this. Moors did, baby. Ancient Morocco. Now, I'm going to go back to this, because remember, if the new Morocco was founded in 1952, then there must have been the people that purchased this land and took the Jerusalem from over here and threw it over there. They took Morocco from over here and threw it over there, because we can find letters from George Washington writing to the Sultan of Morocco. So if the Morocco that's established over there in 1952, if that was just established, then this must have been the Morocco he was writing to. That's why they got Cahokia, Illinois, and you also got a Cahokia in what? Exactly, or Cairo, shall I say. You got a Cairo, Illinois, and they say the Cahokia mounds. We got a lot of mounds over here. We were mound builders. They didn't want to call us pyramid builders. They called us mound builders. Let's keep that in mind. You see, we got Tennessee over here, Idaho, fraternity. You see what I'm saying? Look at that. Virginia, Georgia. Come on, man. Like it never stops. You see, Missouri was way up here. So we in Missouri. I'm in Missouri right now, but how Missouri way up here? How is this a map of the land that I'm on right now? But Missouri is just this little teeny place next to Louisiana and Wisconsin and Ohio, New York. Why is New York all the way over here? How is New York all the way over here? Ohio, New York, Massachusetts, Minnesota. So clearly we had these places. North Jerusalem. For those who claim they're Israelites but don't even know where Israel is, this is Jerusalem, the holy city, buddy. Sorry, you got Iowa, you got Mississippi, and mind you, if you're wondering why it looks so confusing, you should be. They flipped your whole world upside down. So you see south is north, north is south, east is west, west is east. So you have to learn a whole new form of directions. And remember, that right there, if you're wondering where that compass comes from, I'll show you. The compass that you see, if you know nothing about the quote-unquote Mayan calendar, they do. It's right there, see? Make windows out of it, make all kinds of signs out of it. Let's keep that in mind. So that's where your compass comes from. This is how we knew how to navigate, right? Seeing that quote-unquote what they call Mayan.
You saying the map is wrong?
Oh dear, yes. Look at Greenland.
Okay.
Now look at Africa.
Okay.
The two land masses appear to be roughly the same size.
Yes.
Would it blow your mind if I told you that Africa is in reality 14 times larger?
Yes.
Here we have Europe, drawn considerably larger than South America. When it's 6.9 million square miles, South America is almost double the size of Europe's 3.8 million.
Alaska appears 3 times as large as Mexico, when Mexico is larger by 0.1 million square miles.
Germany appears in the middle of the map when it's in the northernmost quarter of the Earth.
Wait. Relative size is one thing, but you're telling me that Germany isn't where we think it is?
Nothing's where you think it is.
Where is it?
I'm glad you asked. The Peters projection.
It has fidelity of axis.
Fidelity of position.
East-west lines are parallel and intersect north-south axes at right angles.
What the hell is that?
It's where you've been living this whole time. This.
Yeah, but you can't do that.
Why not?
Because it's freaking me out.
When third world countries are misrepresented, they're likely to be valued less. When Mercator maps exaggerate the importance of Western civilization, when the top of the map is given to the Northern Hemisphere and the bottom is given to the Southern, then people will tend to adopt top and bottom attitudes.
But wait.
Ever seen a map that looked like... Take this piece.
Have you ever wondered what your world actually looks like? Well, it don't look...
You say that this is the Garden of Eden. There it is.
And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. Nod was a place. It was a land that lied to the east of Eden.
Indigenous fam, what I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind. Fam, I'm about to prove to you with ancient maps, the Bible, and locations that America was home of the Garden of Eden. Stay with me. We all know about the story of Cain and Abel, right? How, Cain unalived his brother, Abel, because he was jealous. And so he was sent to a land where the ground was not going to produce any food. And he dwelt in a land called Nod, where east of Eden. And then it says he knew his wife, she conceived, and he bore Enoch. But this is where it gets interesting. Where is the land of Nod? Oh my goodness. It is in Maine, USA. Yes. The Nod to which Cain wandered when he went from the presence of the Lord. Native American. Now we know Africa does not have Native Americans. They don't call themselves Native Americans. Never have. But this has a Native American name, Nena Sawata Wataks, for the land of Nod. Hello. Where is it located? It's east of Eden. Here's the map that it goes with, Eden. Now, this map looks eerily familiar. You see, it says the place of paradise, America, east of Eden. Now look at all these pyramids. Look. You see all these pyramids? Now let me show you another photo. You see all those pyramids? The same pyramids.
Yeah, so Roy, I got a question right here. Based on all that. So it is a storyline about these Chippewa people. I don't know about the main part. That seemed like, I think that when he went east, based on if they switched the compass around, he left out of Tallahassee because Florida really was big. I'm gonna show a video about that, how big the map of Florida was. Florida went all the way to Texas, pretty much. When you look at the map,
Louisiana was West Florida.
Yep. When you look at the map. So. But if
remember one thing while we're listening to this.
Okay.
None of this stuff is named before 1492 with these biblical names.
Okay.
You remember we went over the cities with biblical names already and what year they was chartered.
Yeah.
That's in order that's because that's what's bound us in the biblical contract.
No, I'm saying, what if they took the shit and just added it into their shit? Because it seems like when you translate some of the words,
right? It's an overlay.
It's an overlay to what the Native Americans called it.
They got a description of God's country. Now they've named in the places where they familiar. They already named their places. Then now they have to find where the places that they named in a narrative, meaning the Middle East, actually go. All right. The guy that was in the museum, Frank Burrell, he big chief.
Just the dude that just played.
Right. He big chief. The only thing is the map that he was showing you. You know how they got Jewtown, Chinatown, Little Italy.
Yeah,
that's
California.
That's what you was looking at on that map. You was looking at everybody was supposed to live under their own vine and fig tree.
Right.
And all of those places is where the people under that vine and fig tree was going to be designated to belong to. Remember, that map is only 1902.
Yeah, 1902, 1904, 3.
Now, what's going on around this time? They still bringing Ellis Island immigrants in
and Louisiana Purchase. No, 18. No, we're 100 years before that. We're 100 years before that. 18.
They passed the Louisiana Purchase now.
Yeah, they're 100 years after that. Yeah.
Right now, at this time that this is going on, I don't even think California part of the United States yet. Because the Mesoamerican War, the Mexican-American War was the early 1900s. That gave us Texas, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada, and I think it's like 2 more states was part of the treaty arrangement in the ceasefire with Mexico when they was at war with the United States. But actually what was going on is the English under the Royal Crown was used enough to fight a proxy war on their behalf against the Spaniards that was in control in Mexico. We wasn't fighting the Mexican people, we was fighting Spaniards. This is why you had the rebellion and you had the rise of Emilio Zapata. Because he was the chief down there that was trying to organize the tribes. He got sold out by what's that dude's name?
Pancho
Villa.
Yeah.
Pancho Villa sold out Zapata for a TV contract because he wanted to be a celebrity. That's all in the story. It ain't hard. That ain't like that's no secret. That's why, like the real radical Mexicans, like the Zapatistas, they don't fuck with Pancho Villa. But the ones in the Mexican diaspora, they think Pancho Villa was a hero because he was a hero in the movie reels they used to watch. They didn't know that he was the one who betrayed the real hero. So they was honoring Judas for betraying Jesus. This is what they doing with these layovers. So the land of Nod is short for the land of Nuttermud. Remember who Nuttermud was?
Inky.
Right. The land of Nod was when they had named the Ethiops. The Ethiops was the name of the continent before it was called Sudan. Ethiops became Ethiopia, right? And this was also India because of where Inky's territory was, extending from South Africa and the Abzu as the Zulu chief, right? And the Zulu was his biggest family member. That was his personal earth guard on Earth. Like that was his personal defense force. When they depart, he tell them that they are the overseers of the Twa and the San. This left the big people, the Zulu, the Dinka, them big people were supposed to look over the little people from their area to keep them from being victims of the avatars. The avatars is the ones those Enlil children from India that took the rank from Enki's children, the Vidians, the Untouchables, the original ether utopians of Hindustan with the afros. They look like the Jackson 5.
Yep, they sure do.
Right? Them was the ones who was the original royal family until Enlil's children came, them the ones with the straight hair, and the girls, the males look like females in the face.
Onaman Empire.
Right. Those are they call Aryans today, but those are Enlil's children, and that's why the so-called white supremacy groups is pushing the Aryan agenda. It's an Enlil agenda.
That's right.
Right? The double lightning bolts. It's Zeus and Thor, father and son. The son come in as Ninnerseen. He give us our seeing rights. By learning in the scrolls of destiny, he can use it to govern the areas of people activity, what they call the scrolls of destiny. Right? So when you tie it all together, it's basically showing you a direct lineage of who belongs where and where they came from. Then when you start studying haplogroups, start watching where these Y chromosomes popping up and where they originate from, and that's how you follow the interlopers. Because all of the mitochondria trace back to a common mother. She had to re-personify. That common mother that everybody genetics trace back to, what they call mitochondrial Eve. Because the mitochondrial, the mother line, is the only unbroken line of heredity. The Y chromosomes is broken when a father has a daughter and not a son. That Y chromosome is over with. But that mitochondria is still continuing along the mother line. So you might have a Y chromosome like Genghis Khan genetics is over here. Why are they over here? How did they get over here? Because Genghis Khan was after they said the Siberians came across the Bering Strait. So he shouldn't have no genetics over here yet. You see, unless somebody brought him east, because the highest concentration of Genghis Khan's genetics over here is in the eastern portion and scattered out through what we would call reservation areas. That means they came from the east, not the west. Again, they keep turning everything backwards to keep us confused. But when you turn it around, you follow the Y chromosome, it's going to tell you who everybody is. Why is Attila the Hun genetics over here? He's not from the furthest part of Siberia going into the Americas. He's from the European side of Asia. What was taken over by the Moors and establishing the Khazarians. That was Hun's territory. Right? The term barbarian, east of Rome, was the term that was used in referring to the Hindus from India and the Khans, Genghis Khan's children from Asia. Those were the barbarians. The hairy barbarians was the Khans, predisposed to the genetic disorder called hirsutism. It's in their DNA.
Hey, Rod, because Doc talk about that in the Holy Tablets about them mixing. He goes really in depth on it. Hey, this is my question for you because before I was going in. Now it's a people I think around Lake Michigan area called the Chippewa people, and they got it's another name. They got a storyline of a great flood and how they built canoes that predates the Bible before 1492. Their story is before 1492 of this great flood that happened. They built canoes and they survived the great flood. You ever heard about that?
Yeah, that's in several of what we call Midwestern tribes folklore, not just the Chippewa.
Okay.
Right. And a lot of the stories is repeats anyway. They repeats. All of it is recycled information. This is the Sumerian text. Half of that shit was going on over here.
Right, that's right.
The breeding program was right in that Fertile Crescent I'm telling you about the Teotihuacan.
Yeah, that's right. That's facts, bro.
That was the genetic breeding complex for the avatars that we would call Homo sapien.
Hey, I got to go ahead. What you finna say?
So it was in the Middle East that they tried to conceal it with sulfur, gave us a different melanin concentration, trying to conceal their dirt. Because they was told to cease those operations. Because Inky had already got in trouble for creating sickle cell to defend malaria. So he had got in trouble for that. When the solar flare hit the earth, it's gonna change the sickle cell into the supercell. That's what that show is about.
Now, also, Rod, when I think of great floods and them causing the flood, it's a lot of people that say, hey, this flood didn't happen all around the world. Plus, they also say, well, these floods really were them trying to destroy our cities because you hear stories about certain like Lake Lanier and these other lakes that, hey, just whole towns got wiped out and because like levees or dams got blew, like down in New Orleans. So could you go in on that too, like because we got a whole tape on it called Organic Wars. Man, you to get a whole tape on it. I'm gonna probably link that in the description. Go ahead though.
All right. Now, just look, back when the ice age ended, you had what's called a permafrost. It was the ground that's right under the ice. Right. Now remember, we coming out of a nuclear winter. And the ice is gonna melt. When the ice melt, the ground is gonna show the exact same symptoms as if it was flooding. Right? Because the ice melting in massive amounts. It's water. A lot of the tribes, especially in Americas, our highways was the rivers. If the river rose to a certain level, we knew that when it get to this point, we only got so much time to get up land on, or take the river and use the current to escape the massive flood that's coming. It's just an overflow of the riverbank. Right? We understood how to read the rivers. Right? Some of the women was so good at it, they could put their hands and they could tell you down to the minute when a big chunk of ice is going to come rolling down the river. Because we remembered how to communicate with the water. The water still be trying to communicate with us, but we don't hear it no more. Right? But some of the women is still tuned into the waters. And that's why they went on these pollution sprees to spoil the waters, especially the sweet waters. Right? And the sweet waters is the water you used to be able to just walk up, slap your face in there and start drinking. Can't do that no more. Now you got to go have a test kit with you to make sure the water's safe to drink.
Right.
We didn't used to need no test kit. Right? So they say if you want to know if water is safe to drink, take the horse down there. If the horse don't drink it, you don't drink it.
Damn, Joe, right? Oh, yeah, Rod know about that. Rod know that's a country boy move right there, man.
Yeah, but that's what they say. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Can't make it drink. That's right.
He's not going to drink the poison. That's why you can't make him drink. He's not going to drink the poison.
Right. Right.
Man.
Hey,
and if you know how to read your horse, you can save your life.
Right. Right. We're going to get into the 13 colonies and how that changed the map. But let me roll some old clips, man. We got some hot. Let's see what we got.
What if the Bible took place in America and not in the Middle East like we've been told? Here is an updated summary of all the biblical locations in America that I know of so far. Let's start with Bethlehem, since it's almost Christmas. Virgin, Utah is Bethlehem. Ironic, right? Migdal Eder is Lamb's Knoll in Utah. Zion National Park is Zion. Springdale, Utah is the City of David. Hebron town site is Hebron. Colorado River is the Nile. Nevada and surrounding areas is Egypt. The Israelites came up out of the Las Vegas area and crossed Yom Suf near Overton Arm, Nevada. Ayurveda campground is Elam. Smoky Mountain in Utah is Mount Sinai. Hovenweep is Petra or Selah. Scorpion Ridge is Akrabim. Damascus is on Highway 80 and 191 on the border of Utah and Idaho. Salt Lake City is Jerusalem. University of Utah is where Mount of Olives is. The cross and the tomb are in the Garden of Gethsemane, which is at the base of the Mount of Olives.
Did you know that ancient America has a map of as it being written in the Old Testament? It's a map of the Old Testament, the land of Israel, also the land of Egypt. Now what we call some Hebrews actually have found this. They got it, I guess, from a whole land, and they had this map up on their site, and guess what happened? They took their channel down.
We seen this map already, boy. I got a question right here, Roy, because I really put these clips to now maize, corn. You know, because we did that whole extensive study on corn. The Bible make mention of corn. They say they went down to Egypt to get some corn. Now we know corn indigenous to America. Now that's another key point. Now they could go into it wasn't talking up. Nah, they said corn. So how does that play out, Rod? For these people that say these people that these people that supposed to get that dealing with this corn when they over there and the corn is over here. How do they explain that, Rod? How do they get around that corn artifact?
Well, they admit that the ancient cultures had some kind of contact. They just don't broadcast it and make it known, but they admit it. They had tested the pharaohs and found coca leaf, cocaine, tobacco, and marijuana strains that was common to North America. And they admit from that they had to be in some kind of contact. Right? Remember, we still deciphering the Eurocentric worldview with the Bible as the foundational tool. In order to find the true Holy Land, they have to match up from the old untranslated text to find the land, the places that they renaming with these biblical names. None of these cities was biblically named that before the colonizers came. All them biblical names is after 1492. But now, if you look at it from a architectural standpoint, an architect is looking at a blueprint, right? And he's needing to divide up parts of the blueprint in order to have control of the whole system. So he is using the description from the old text, the old maps, that's in cuneiform, that's in might be written in hieroglyphics, right? Might be written in Sanskrit, ancient languages. Now, while they doing that, they using that to try to determine if the location that they renamed from the old system would be located at if this was the map based on the geography described in the text. So he's writing over the new map what the new name would be of the ancient site. He's not actually telling you that this was the biblical city. He's saying that if we use the Bible as the overlay, we would have to put this piece right here, this part over here, and this part right here in order for us to know that it's lining up with the old map that we already have of this so-called promised land.
Right.
How you gonna promise somebody something when somebody already there?
Right.
Right. If you are the God that created the whole thing, then you don't have to create a place for somebody to be. You put them where you wanted them at when you created them.
Right.
But people don't understand that part, because then they understand that the biggest trick of the devil wasn't to make you think he didn't exist. The biggest trick of the devil was to convince you he was God. And the only word at that.
Damn. That's the cold piece, bro.
Isaiah 45:7.
That's a cold piece right there. That's a punchline right there, brother.
Yeah, that's the biggest trick of the devil.
Damn, that's a cold piece. Because they ain't sure doing it for sure.
So if I take over all other religions, all I have to do is make the good guy the bad guy and give false promises to the people. Because if you look at the devil in the Bible, what is he responsible for? One death? How many is the God of the Bible responsible for? He wiped the whole earth out before. according to
Yeah.
what they tell us, right?
Right.
So he wiped out the whole earth because he ain't like what he did when he made man. That's retarded. That guy got an ego complex. Then he knows other gods. And how do we know this? Because they talk about them in the book.
Right.
And sometimes they have us believing that multiple different gods is the same one God, but it's different translations, like Al Shaddai. That's Enki. Al Adonai. That's Enki. El Elo. That's Enlil. Yahweh. That's Enlil. Chemosh. That's Marduk. The Mighty One. AKA Malachi Z. York. They all in there.
Yeah.
Under the ancient names. But if you don't know who they is in modern times, it won't never make sense to you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, bro. I'm with you on that the biblical names, they are like a translation of some ancient stuff that we already had.
Right.
Because yeah.
Just think of, go back to watching, what's that Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones movies.
Mm-hmm. I love the movies.
He started off looking at a map, an ancient map. But now he got to find a modern interpretation of the ancient map. The same thing, Nicolas Cage, National Treasure.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. They always start with an ancient map. Now, if I get the translation key, it might look like the modern map is telling you the ancient name, but it's just the translation key. It's to unravel it so you can see what they're doing. Because if you understand the game they playing, it don't work no more. Okay, look at what they did with this map. They turned it upside down and backwards. Why did they do that? The Lucifer lens. Flip it right side up and frontwards, and it's going to tell you something. That means you have to learn how to use the mirror effect. It's a training tool. The mirror effect is something that psychics naturally do, but they don't understand what they're doing, so they don't have control of it to translate it. They can only interpret it. It feels like this, right? But once they can understand the flips that they seeing, then they can say, oh, somebody named Charles coming to your house at 5 o'clock tomorrow. Because it'll translate in the energy field. They can get that accurate. It's just only a few of them understand their gift enough to learn how to translate what they're seeing. The time dilation is different for men to women. So when a psychic man see a date, it's off. When a psychic female see a date, it's almost to the moment because it's using her biological rhythms of her menstrual cycle in tune with the earth in order to clock the time. That's why they want them to get away from yoni magic. So once you understand what they're doing, now your brain can unravel it for you. Like a lot of the time while I'm explaining this, it's making pieces fall into place for people. Then they're going to have an aha effect because they already knew. They just didn't understand what they were seeing, so they had it on the back burner until it could be explained. Right? So it's part of the war strategy to change the name of the geography. We in a hostile occupation from a foreign hostile force.
That's right.
Right? So they're going to give us lines of demarcation based upon military control measures.
That's facts.
This is going to give us states. State is a condition. A static condition is a state. The state is not what we think it is. It's the cutout. To govern the land, you have to have the military zones have to be mapped out. When you go back to the history books, and you go back again, you realize that most of the the territories was designated by military, like General Sherman, General Custer, right? They was mapping out territory as they conquered it by staking maps in key places. That's what the story of Little Bighorn is about. That's what the Star Spangled Banner is singing about. Staking the flag to claim territory. This was the salvage rights, right? The salvage right said once you claim it, that gives you a squatter's rights because you have to occupy it now.
Right.
Military, it's all military. We didn't have our territory broke up into 50 states. That's not how we had it.
Right.
Right. It was more like Canada with provinces. But the lines was along the natural formations of the land. There was no straight lines.
Hey, Roy, I got another question for you before we go to this next clip. Now, I noticed, and shout out Dr. Kia Pruitt, shout out to Chiefess Cynthia for the super chat. Dr. Kia Pruitt in the building, y'all. Make sure you go subscribe to her channel. Hey, Roy, so I noticed they
Somebody
said
sent me
also.
this came today.
Okay, go ahead.
Silver coins. I forgot the sister name that sent it to me. Right now, I'm mentally preoccupied. But when you said that, I remembered I had the silver coin in my pocket. But it got a mandrill on it.
Fire.
A mandrill is the baboon with the colors in his nose.
Right.
Right.
Right. I know you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. So the baboon, that's one of the symbols for Tahuti.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So the mandrill is in that family of primate.
Yeah.
So
now
I appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to peace and love to all those people, man. Rob, before we go to this next clip, I got one more question for you. Now, I see that they told us in this in the challenge that they gonna make us think all the wealth is in other countries, but we're gonna be standing on the land of milk and honey, right? And then I thought about it, I said, dang, that makes sense now about the Mansa Musa thing, because how they telling us all the gold in Africa, then he come over here and get gold from us, and then he go back over there and flood the economy, according to Dr. Clark, man, in his book, we talk about Mansa Musa and how he had a certain amount of camels packed down with gold that he got from us. But they telling us the wealth is in Africa. What's your take on that, right?
Africa have gold too.
Okay.
But the quality is not the same.
Okay.
Right. You remember when they went to find a new land in the Bible, it said the gold over there, it is good.
Right. Really
right?
over here though.
Right. That was our goal. Remember, they was looking for Cordoba over here.
Yeah.
They was looking for the city of gold over here. They wasn't looking for it in Africa.
Right.
Why they wasn't looking for it in Africa? Because when the colonizers came, they seen more gold than they had ever seen in their life.
Right.
Remember, you had different metals that you made your spear tips out of, and a lot of them spear tips was gold infused with brass or bronze or something like that.
Right.
Or copper. Right. And that was their spear tips. But normally those were ceremonial. And this is why when I think it's one of Ivan Van Sertima books that it was a article or one of the sections in there was about them discovering the spear from Mansa Musa's brother, Abu Bakr, who Mansa Musa came over here to locate because he said he ain't come back. You gotta remember, he didn't want to come over here, so he sent his brother, but his brother never came back.
Right.
So they assumed that something dastardly happened to his brother. So that's when he mounted up his people and came over here, that's after he had already made his pilgrimage to Mecca.
Right.
It was during his pilgrimage to Mecca where he was passing out gold, fucking up economies.
Go ahead.
Because now people that was in indentured contracts was able to buy their freedom. That's where we at right now. Everybody that's under this United States fraud and indentures, they're gonna get paid out, even if they gotta leave the country. If their family been over here long enough to be part of getting the effed over, they may not be able to stay, but they still might get like, here you go, going home present for you.
Right.
Thanks for playing the game.
Hey.
But you lost, we won. Let the doorknob hit you where the dog should have bit you.
Got him. All right. Yeah. Hey, that's fine though. Let me roll this clip.
Did you know that the Smithsonian used the same person on the cover-up in the Grand Canyon as they used in the cover-up of the Giants? Did you know that Dr. Hay went down the Susquehanna River, did the Susquehanna River expedition in 1916, found petroglyphs, found artifacts? Yep, and within 4 years he was signing dam permits to destroy some of the major villages and towns, civilized areas, the most prominently known ones like Haldeman's Island in Pennsylvania, where the Onuyuutahaga, the Standing Stones people, I mean, very important, original, aboriginal North American tribes, and they were covered up. Right from the beginning, the Smithsonian, its intention was always to do that. The Grand Canyon, they found the artifacts. They supposedly put a railroad in. They had to carry so many artifacts out that they had to build something like that. G.E. Kincaid put his 2 cents in, and there was articles being released everywhere. Were all the newspapers simultaneously corrupt? Or did the Smithsonian use their money, use their power and influence over archaeology in this country to erase the truth? I like to think it's the latter. Come over to Human Origins Revealed and support this, because behind all of this, we're sharing with you some of these ancient East Coast sites that they covered up. And we're going to show you that the same people were involved. I'm grateful for your time. Please come over to
So are you saying the Smithsonian hides evidence of giants?
I'm saying that the conspiracy theory is that the Smithsonian hides evidence of a lot of things. The Smithsonian, of which I'm a huge fan of. Like if I go to DC, I spend 4 days there. I love
play that because we got a whole tape breaking down the Smithsonian Institute. But this is my question, Rod. Now, so they talk about the giants, even in the Bible, even though we could, people don't like the terms that they use, but we just go on with the geographical construct that they're giving us. And they talking about giants in the Genesis chapter 6. And now we hear about Smithsonian Institute covering up giants. And they got bones of giants and across the Mississippi River, and they arresting people and stealing their farm if they would try to go out and talk about it after without reporting it to them at first. And we noticed they set up at 1840s in the 1840s and started running this game. We already got a whole tape on it. But what's your take on that part, the giants? And I think it's still giants out here. They just in the NBA. We got a lot of giants in the NBA, man. You don't know how tall what a giant is till you see Shaq. Man, a 26-inch shoe ain't no giant shoe. 26-inch shoe, man. Shit, that's a big ass.
It's a tribe in Africa called the Dinka.
Yeah, Watusi. Go ahead.
And now Watusis. Watusis is tall and skinny.
Yeah, you got
the Dinka not skinny at all. And they got this ceremony that before they get married, they got to gain a whole lot of weight. So they got this concoction of cow's milk and blood they got to drink to put on the pounds.
Mm-hmm.
The fatter you is at your wedding, the more prosperous your marriage is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So he be sitting in there, but they average between 6'6" and 7 feet tall or taller. And they weigh between 250, like 250 to like 350 on average. Now I weigh 260. I'm on the small scale of what they are. Right? So if you go look up the Dinka tribe and you can see what they look like. Then you have people like Akeem Olajuwon. Those were the skinny giants. Manute Bol, right? But then you had your Asian giants.
That's right.
Like Yao Ming.
That's right.
Right? They got a Japanese wrestler named Baba or something, but he was taller than Andre the Giant. He came in at 7'7". Now remember, the average height of people in the 1800s, we ain't even got to the 1900s, was between 5'2" and 5'7". 6 feet was tall. It's common now. The Mississippians have bloodlines of some what we call BMFs, some big mofos. Right? That's their bloodline.
Yeah.
Right? That's because they was the giants they of the land. And some of them is related to the Sasquatch, because the Sasquatch used to intermarry with the tribes. Most people don't know that.
That's
and
right.
That's why some of our women got them hairy ass legs.
And the mustache.
The goony goo goos.
Yeah, better watch that mustache. That mustache.
And
what they
always say, oh, she's Spanish. She must be Spanish.
With that mustache that puts it on you, boy.
But the genetic traits of all of the ones that came to contribute to the cleanup of the great debauchery can be seen in American people. The Flugerades, the Canaanites, the Deros, the Teros, the Dewanis, the Enkiduites. They all here.
That's right.
Your fairies, your gnomes.
Melting pot.
Yeah, but they all just look like humans now, just like different types of human. Their energy is going to mold their characteristics through the DNA. It is what it is. Everybody trying to keep their blood pure. We mutts. We galactic mutts, though.
Galactic supreme being.
Yeah, because we a mixture of some of the greatest beings that ever existed.
That's right.
Remember, Earth didn't just form and poof, it was populated. The frequency had to draw energy to make it conducive to a certain type of life. So it had to develop to a point where it attracts the life form from its essence that's supposed to govern over this area. We are drawing that energy from all of the other stars that's tributaries, what we call in the zodiac. As it formed, then you go developing what's called the spirits of the earth, which is the traits that makes up the character of the planet. Right? Venus, divine feminine. Mars is warlike masculine. Right? Jupiter is the old man, the thinker. Right? Saturn is the lord of the rings, the playboy, the one who go around philandering women. Right? Pluto is the loyal guard dog, watcher at the gate. So you got all these planets got a different personality. Their personality comes in and affects the humans as their energy. We absorb their energy that animates who we are.
Part of it.
And this is why your zodiac sign can be read. Because the energy that make you up and become your I-ness, yourself, that energy is readable based on your birth date.
That's right.
When you understand they was using that as a tool to your oppression, it started to make more sense. Why they need your birth certificate all the time. Why they need your birthday all the time. You need it on the job application, on the driver's license. Right? The geography, where was you born? I always ask me, where was you born? What day was you born on? Some people even ask you what time you was born.
Yeah.
Because now they have what's your vital statistics, your vital information to run your astrological chart, your natal chart. The more information you give them, the more accurate they are to who you are. They know who we all are. It's not a secret.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Hey, let's roll this. This next one is kind of interesting, Chief. Will this guy break down that the about the Phoenicians being over here and that these some kind of way the English was phenomenal from this Phoenician alphabet? Let me let you see this real quick so you can tell me what you think.
Man, get in here, get in here, get in here. When I say all secrets about to be revealed, you notice everybody keeps saying, what's your language? What's your language? So-called African American. Well, the Noah Webster Dictionary took out the language of the real copper color tribes that was here that explains who are the real American. But what language did they speak? Notice how they took that out and left this right here and say the copper color races found here by Europeans now applied to the descendants of Europeans. Well, they took the language that the Native Americans spoke in this first dictionary that I'm about to reveal to you. About to blow your mind. But it got a deeper meaning. Like Hebrew, yeah. Sit back and relax and watch the whole video. But before I reveal this secret, if you'd like to donate $1, I greatly appreciate it. Now, before I show you what Noah Webster's dictionary had and they took it out, you got to understand the English alphabet does unfortunately trace its origin back to the Phoenician alphabet. The Phoenician, take a screenshot. Phoenician, right? So we speak in Phoenician already. That was the first great reset. What was the second great reset? This statement is accurate. Although English and Hebrew appears vastly different on the surface due to their separate origins, they share some similarities because they both belong to the Semitic language family. So we're speaking Semitic right now. I'm speaking Semitic right now. I'm speaking Semitic right now, right? I'm speaking Hebrew right now. Now, here go another way of putting it. While English and Hebrew are considered very distinct language due to their distinct origins and vocabulary, they do share some similarities primarily because both belongs to the Semitic language family. Go ahead and take a screenshot. Go ahead and take a screenshot. Now, since we got that out the way, let's see what Noah Webster's dictionary had to say why it was so important to remove this author Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary. All secrets shall be revealed. And I know Native Americans, you're going to get mad. I know the Jewish people's going to get mad. But the truth is the truth. Now, take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. Noah Webster's included words from the Algonquin language and other indigenous North American language in his dictionaries, standardized their use in the American English. He sought to distinguish American English from Britain English by including words unique to the new nation, especially those for native plants and animals and culturally objects. Did you catch that? He used us to write the dictionary. But let's continue. Now, this is where everybody gets mad. This is where everybody gets mad. Take a screenshot. But started from 1806, you see this right, the English language. This work was Webster's first and is defined many Americanism for the first time in a dictionary, words like this and that, right? But this is very important right here. This is very important. 1828, in the Merriam Dictionary of English Language. In this most comprehensive work, Webster included many more words from indigenous language.
Hey, we're gonna watch the whole thing. But Raw, I got a couple questions from Nick. Now we know based on Tahuti was over here first. Tahuti was the one that was instructing the writing and the linguistics, in a way. And we say that Inky was over here at some point, with the land of Nod connection or whatever. And he was dealing with the Sumerian, what you call the Cooney form, information language form, which they say
Okay.
that the Semitic language come from that. And then what about the tablets that they found that the Smithsonian Institute found? They dating it 30,000 years, but they say they found about Lake Michigan. So what's your take on all of this, Chief?
Phoenician is an old language. Remember I said that we've been doing trade up and down the east coast of America with Africa for thousands of years.
That's right.
Remember I said we've been doing trade with Asians on the west coast of the Americas for thousands of years.
Right.
Okay, now the language that we're using today as common English, right? The Americanized English have a lot of words from indigenous origins.
Right.
But it also have a lot of words from Sanskrit origins, French
That's right.
origins, or
Right.
Latin origins,
That's right.
Greek origins. Okay, now to get back to, if you go get this book, Ivan Van Sertima, African Presence in Early Asia, he talk about the 300 word original dialect that we call English today. And this original 300 word dialect was spoken by the Twa people that went to settle Ireland. These are the same people that St. Patrick got sainthood for exterminating. They were a group of Naga priests. This is where your druids come from with the brown robes, right? Only they used the rope around the waist, whereas the original ones had what's called a double cobra buckle. The men wore a cobra band around their head. The women wore cobra bands around their biceps. This the snakes that he killed in Ireland. Ireland has never, there's no snakes native to Ireland. There's no fossil record that a snake ever been to Ireland. There's no remains of snakes nowhere in any studies of Ireland. There was the Nagas priest, was the serpent's priesthood that he was killing off, that got him sainthood. And this is why the Irish people is split. The Catholic side loves St. Patrick. The Protestant side can't stand him. So they got two different perspectives of them over there in Ireland. The ones who is tied to the old ways, they don't respect St. Patrick. But the one that's tied to the colonization and influenced by the colonization, they look at St. Patrick as the Irish saint. This is the same time while they were exterminating the serpents that Scott and Scotia was under attack because they was the heirs. And they came over here.
Yeah.
Right? Now, remember we talked about the giants, the Sasquatch. Who do you think Saskatchewan, Canada is named after? Bigfoot territory. The Bigfoot is a tribe. The Sasquatch is a whole tribe. All of them not hairy like that. Some of them just look like Shaq.
That's right. All right, go ahead.
and they just got long wavy hair. That's the only way you'll know them. But most of us now keep our hair cut. So that won't even tell on them. They just, like this, shave. That's not native to Africa. Native Africans is not known to be hairy people in the face.
That's right.
The only ones that was known for beards is the Zulu. Because they came from over here. They was populated from Mississippian stock. And that's why when they talk about Shaka, they really telling you about Jeff Fort. They really telling you a story about an African Zulu king, but they really telling you a story about a chief in America. But you got to know how to match up the characters. Because they trying to give you misdirection. And Zinka, she wasn't over there. She was over here, but her name wasn't Zinka. The original way it was pronounced is Seyah. And it was pronounced Saya. But they could never get the African click language to translate properly. This is how it becomes Zinga and Nzinga. So in the original transliteration, if you mirror the word, it's the same as my last name.
Oh yeah. Hey, Rod, do you think that the map that they showing us is missing a lot of islands? Because I noticed, like when we went out there, man, it's islands that we were stopping at, especially on like certain cruises. Like when we went to Grand Turk, all these areas. Man, do you think it's more islands out there that they ain't got mapped? Because they buying all these.
There's so many islands, man. And then you got to remember in the ocean, islands rise and fall too. Right? It might be an island for 1,000 years, just disappear. Right? But then on the other side of the ocean, it was nothing but water here. All of a sudden, here comes this land peeking up out the ocean. Where it come from? The earth is a living organism like we are. And stuff grow and stuff die. Just like ourselves. None of this stuff is new to us. We just got to try to remember. And then it'll all start to rearrange how you're seeing it in your mind. And that's all we're trying to do is get them to see it for what it is instead of what they was told it was. Because everything they told us it was some made up BS.
Hey, Rod, now we see ancient maps with a landmass called the land of Mu, right? Well, Hawaii used to be. And then we also see, we know about Tahuti in the city of Atlantis, a landmass. It possibly could have been a landmass in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Could you go in a little bit on that? What you got on that?
It was in both of those places. Okay. Remember I told you how the people populated Hawaii by walking across a land bridge? Right? They down there by Japan, under Japan. It's under there, under the water, there's submerged cities of massive proportions. Right? That's when the first Anunnaki came. They was like fucking 30 feet tall. Right? Then as they begin to be acclimated to being born in the earth body, because they used to jump avatars, they had to shrink themselves down gradually. And this is why they had to mix with the earth women, because the average earth woman at the time was about 3'6". Right? So they was way bigger. It was like Shaq dating a midget. That's what it looked like.
Hey, I saw on a series where they found these people that were frozen solid down in Antarctica, but they didn't
They said they called them Jafar, but we know that they was is translated to the Afar people. What's your take on
The Jafar is a different. It's a different. They're a different group.
Yeah, it was with a Jafar, like when they brought that from the Stargate movie. They used to call them the Jafar people, right? But I'm talking about.
You don't remember I told you
what's your take on?
You remember I was telling you they was frozen in the ice, telepathically telling the scientists how to thaw them out?
Yeah.
You forgot I told you that?
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, that's why I brought it back up. Yeah, I was gonna get you to touch on it a little bit.
Yeah. So they don't call them that no more. Right now they calling them the Bashinga tribe, and they saying they exported them from Africa and they thrived in the ice.
Yeah, right. I don't think this.
I'll send it to you if you want to share it.
Yeah, hey, look, hey, that sounds far fetched, man. Like how these how is pyramids and all this down now that match pyramids in the other geographical locations, and then they find these same peoples that they draw it on the pyramids, but then they send us around the corner, man, and tell us, oh no, yeah, see, these people, we dropped them off, on a spaceship, and about 300 years ago. Come on, man. We was already
indigenous tribes up in Antarctica.
I'm about to send it to you now, yeah.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to load it up because if I was on my laptop, I'll be able to do it. So I ain't gonna we had to show it on the next class. But you might can play it, like if you can play it, I can hear it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start it from the beginning and play it.
Get in here, America. Check out this new discovery of indigenous tribes up in Antarctica. Oh, have y'all heard of the Bashinga tribe? Pictures of the Bashinga people along with leaked CIA documents have been circulating the dark web. This is super weird. It's said that this tribe was taken from West Africa to Antarctica as part of an experiment to see if melanated people could survive in the cold. But it gets really dark because the population of the tribe was reportedly ended after an anthropologist accidentally brought smallpox to the community. What's really strange is that there are pictures of artifacts and very tall wooden structures. Where did they get the wood from? Were there trees in Antarctica? Over time, the Bashinga people were claimed to have adapted to the cold in strange and amazing ways. They were happy to swim in the freezing sea and wore very little clothing, thriving in conditions that should have been impossible for them to endure. Researchers were apparently baffled by this, unable to understand how these adaptations were possible and unable to understand the language. The reports also describe a strange event involving the Bashinga people drinking a strange brown liquid and hallucinating, but there are no further details. Now, what's going on here, America?
That's fire. That's like the people they were showing too in the movie where they showed that they were frozen in the ice, solid.
Yeah, look, they like super geniuses. Like they can figure out something. Like they can read your mind, and they'll know. They can, from what you know about how a VCR works, they can take that mug apart and put it back together again, and make it work better. And you don't even have to know all of the details about the VCR. They can, like some kind of holographic mental projection they do, they could take it all apart in their mind and put it back together. That's what Nikola Tesla was doing. And where you think he was getting the information from?
Hey, you ever heard, Rod, of the Danaco? Because them people look like they could, because Doc talk about these Danaco people being on the other side of the ice wall, and those people look like they could be, I'm going to go do more research on it, but they look like they could be connected with those people. They gave us the receding hairline, look, the Yaku side of him, his dad.
From the inner earth.
Yeah.
They're from the inner earth, but they got a tribe. They got a surface earth tribe called the Dinka.
Yeah.
That's their, right. So all of those tribes, when they say that they went to a holy land or something, a lot of them went to the inner earth. The inner earth is not like the surface of the earth.
Right.
And it's ongoing civilization that been there for way longer than the surface civilization. Like they were contemporaries with Atlantis, Lemuria, and Mu. Lemuria and Mu is short for Lemuria. And Lemuria was part of the Atlantean alliance of Earth families. Everybody was under the Atlantean banner, but they had their own systems. This is why you have Sanskrit ancient in India, you have hieroglyphs ancient in Kemet, you have petroglyphs all throughout South Africa, and you have stone remains. All that stuff is there, right? Because all over the earth, everybody was living under their own system, but was part of the Atlantean civilization, which was a global. It was like a United Nations of the world.
That's right.
Right. Except it was ran by a matriarchy. So all it was a network of allocation of resources to optimize the output of whatever we set our minds to create. We wanted everybody to have the same ability when they create to get their creation out to the rest of us. Imagine if we'd suppressed Kool Herc when he started messing around with turntables.
Right.
Right. Or putting lyrics to breakbeats. When we'd have stopped them back then, we wouldn't have hip hop.
Right.
This is what the COINTELPRO understood when they was trying to stop the rise of any potential messiah. Because if we start influencing each other, our greatness trigger more greatness.
Right.
Our victimhood triggers more victimhood. That's why I tell everybody, we were not slaves. We were prisoners of war. There is a marked difference.
Yes, it is. It is.
There's a stark difference for somebody who never stopped fighting. And how you know we never stopped fighting? Because we still here fighting to this day.
Right.
And don't nobody have a stronger record for fighting for this land than us. We've been fighting since 1492 and ain't stopped fighting to this day.
Right.
Now the bill comes due. Since we never gave up and we know who we is, they got to give us what's rightfully ours. That's not negotiable.
Facts.
That's just the rules to the game, in the game called life. Played on the planet called Earth, a feminine planet under matriarchal rules. And the God man is the man that's God enough to tell you that God is a woman and not feel no kind of way slighted or belittled by admission of the truth. Right? Now you walking in your God energy.
Right.
Now you tell the women, hey, it's time for you to assert your jurisdictional supremacy at the close of the age, because you got to prepare, help the women's got to prepare for the next 7 generations, and we don't want the same cycle to repeat. And then we become iconoclasts. Because now, even though I'm not a Christian, I'm growth and development, I got to know what the Christians teach, because I got to know what they teaching my people. I got to know what the Muslims teach, what the Hebrews teach. I don't give a damn about what they teach. But if I got enough cross-section of the people interested in what they teaching, I got to find out why.
Right.
That's where I discovered that they was exploiting genetic memory by giving you the fragments of a story.
That's right.
And rearranging the fragments to tell a different story so similar to the story you genetically remember that you fall for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Dang, Rod, just, man, boy, dropped it right there.
Yeah, because it feels familiar to you.
You dropped it.
They know Jesus is ISIS subconsciously. That's why they devoted. But they think Jesus is a man consciously, which gives them a conflict. So it's a psycho-spiritual conflict in the battlefield of the mind. As soon as you take them back from the English to the Greek that the New Testament was revealed in and show them and say ISIS, it don't say Jesus. It don't say Yeshua. Because it wasn't written in Hebrew. It say ISIS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Greek.
So when you realize that ISIS is the Great Mother. And the Great Mother is the Black Madonna, heir to the throne of the sacerdotal seat in order to restore the matriarchy. Then you know that the throne is called Auset, which the Greek word Isis is the transliteration of. So Auset means throne. Well, who sits on the throne? The Pharaoh. But everybody been told under patriarchy that the man is the Pharaoh. But the examination of the word Pharaoh is feminine for the light of the house. They try to make it seem like it's named after the lighthouse of Alexandria. But that's not the case. The lighthouse of Alexandria is named after the mother of the house, the Pharaoh. Pharaoh means the lady who sits on the throne. Her title in Kemet is Mary, right? But in Europe, Mary means rebellious woman. But in Kemet, Mary means the beloved one. Pay attention to the opposites. So Mary mean in a rebellious woman in Europe, that's under Roman culture. Under Kemet, that's under matriarchal culture. How did she become the beloved? Whose beloved was she?
I knew.
In the text, it tells us that she was the beloved of Ra, who gave her an eye. The eye of Ra. Right? Then it tells you that in order for her son, Heru, to ascend to his father's position, she gave him an eye. And you see it written in your biblical narrative as an eye for an eye. To train the son to avenge the father by overthrowing the uncle that overthrew the dad.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So a lot of people not understanding that these stories is part of the holy drama that's tied to your genetic memory. So when you hear it in Christianized form, the familiarity becomes seductive and narcotic in effect.
That's right. That's the dang on truth, boy.
Now, another thing, when you see them shouting in church, that's not part of the Christian doctrine. That didn't come from Christianity. When you see them talking in that funny language in church, that didn't come from Christianity either. What they call speaking in tongues. Those are not Christian origin practices that's in the church. Tambourines is not originally part of the church. Right? Now, why is that important? Because we've been playing tambourines for thousands of years. And the church shouting comes from the voodoo tradition and the speaking in tongues.
That's right, bro.
Those were channeling ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why some people can translate it. It's all part of the ancient tradition. Why is it in the church? Because that's where one of the battlefields was, the church. The church setup over here is not like the Catholic Church.
That's it.
Over here, your church, you ain't got no church in America if you don't got no church mother. Or what they call them, prayer warriors, or a group of women. All that comes from the voodoo tradition. That's not from the church.
Bro.
That's not part of Christianity. Christianity is a middle-aged white homosexual male religion. That's what it was made for. And that's why all of the priests is fruity. About 90% of them anyway. You got a couple good ones in there, but
It says, hey, we'll take questions from the crowd. We got about 15 minutes. Hey, everybody hit the like button right now, man. We got about 3,000 people that was on, maybe more, maybe 5,000, I mean. It's that like, hey, y'all, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Also, if you want to show Chief some love on a Cash App, shout out everybody to the super chat. We just dropped this Cash App in the links. We'll take some, we'll take questions for the crowd for about 15 minutes. We'll get out of here. We'll take about 3, 4, 5 questions. See what y'all got, man. So right now we know they switched to maps. We know that they north is really south, south is west. Because people were saying, "Hey, what way should you sleep facing?" And I was saying, "North is south right now," and they were saying you should face north. So that means you should face south, right?
Well,
if that's
the understanding of where the map is and where your orientation is how you perceive the map.
Okay.
Right, because it's your mind that's orienting you. Even if you disorient it, you can still find your center. Right? If it's something ancient, then south is north. No, north is still north, it's just not up. It's down.
Okay.
Right? South is up. Now, west is left because south is up. And east is right, as opposed to east is left and west is right. It's the flip.
Yeah.
It's the flip on the map. And that's why they say that the sun gonna rise in the west in the end, because it's gonna reorient the map.
Somebody, I guess Raw really just answered. Somebody say, "How can we correct the map?" Said, "Flip it." Look like flip that.
Yeah, if you're looking at it, just turn it upside down for beginners. That begins your reorientation process. Remember, it's hot in Australia because Australia is getting direct bursts from the top from the sun. Whereas in the northern hemisphere, we getting the afterburn of the sun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm gonna give you some. I'm finna drop it on you, nephew. Leave that up there. Get you a pencil. Get you a pencil and a piece of paper. I'm about to drop them on you. He said, I'm 19. Man, what's book recommendations you got for somebody my age? Now, one is a book called The Modern Prince. Right? Modern Prince is some modern military strategists reinterpreting Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince, using modern military understanding of the same thing. Okay, now get Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun. It's a real thin book. It's probably gonna cost you about $2, $3, but it's a headbanger. Get Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Right? Now, I'm going to give you a couple authors because everything they got is cut like that. The writings of Og Mandino. OG is his first name. Mandino is his last name. Og Mandino. His stuff is fire. One of his most notorious work is called The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay, then get the Ryan Holiday collection. He's a modern day Stoic philosopher. Headbangers. Right? Then get the Robert Greene collection, but don't read them in the order they was published. Start with the 33 Strategies of War, then go into the 48 Laws of Power, then go into Mastery, then go into the Art of Seduction, then go to the Laws of Human Nature. You will put them in order and you can maximize the benefit. All right, now, There's Anthony Robbins. He got a book called Awakening the Giant Within. Headbanger. And he also got one called Unlimited Power. But a brother reworked the book and made Unlimited Power a black choice. Both of them pretty much got the same information, but one is geared toward, instead of quoting Shakespeare, they might quote Frederick Douglass, right? Napoleon Hill's Law of Success in 16 Lessons. Now, that's a mini library. But now you need a couple more. You need Thick Face Black Heart by Chien Min Nu. She also got another book called The Asian Mind Game, Headbanger. She got another one called The Chinese Mind Game, Headbanger. But Thick Face Black Heart, that's the one. Then let me see what else would. I think right there, that'll get you in the right state of mind. Oh, Art of War by Sun Tzu, and Guerrilla Warfare, Che Guevara, Guerrilla Warfare, Mao Zedong. Man, I could go on and on and on. But them right there, if you get the ones I just told you, you'll be ready. 19, it'll probably take you a couple years to get that digested, but once it get in your system, you'll be ready.
That's fire. Hey, also, I think you should get a book. It's a book called the Ultimate Travel Guide by the Art of Shinku. You heard of that one, Rod?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad
It
one
looks
right
like
there.
a comic book, but it got everything you need to know about visiting Earth.
Right.
For
Right. So
extraterrestrial.
yeah, that's right. What do you say right here? With maps being switched, what is the importance of Minnesota Northwest Territory given all the actions that have happened with George Floyd, voters fraud, etc.?
Okay, so if you look at political history of the states, one state has always been blue. And it's only one state that's always been blue, and that's Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
This is a strong Democratic presence. Now remember, the Democrats is the one been doing all the dirt to us, but we've been voting Democrat. Right. So they definitely had a stronghold in Minnesota. Minnesota is important because the concentration of tribes in Minnesota can't get no relief under the current administration of state government, local government. Because you got too much unseen corruption, too much backdoor wheeling and dealing, and because Minnesota is not what you call a hot state, like New York or Illinois or Florida or California, where a lot of people go to a lot, because the cold keep out a lot of riffraff. But because of it, the way that it's situated, it's Ottawa territory, right? And the Ottawa Confederation also consisted of Chippewa and Oshkosh and a few other ones that made up this territory. So when they looking at getting out the corruption, because they can't give it back to you as a rotten apple, they got to clean it up first. And so you seeing all this activity going on, starting with George Floyd, because that was all Antifa sponsored. You gotta remember, that was all that BLM and Antifa, that was all George, that was financially supported by George Soros.
That's right.
George Soros was getting the money through dark channels from the CIA, the Mossad, and a couple of other organizations that supported billionaires that live in Switzerland or the Isle of Man. Right. So while they governing the world from over there where they at, we don't know none of this stuff on average. Most of us don't understand what they're doing behind the scenes to usurp us.
Right.
So when we see right now stuff going on and they sending out all of these provocateurs, people to rabble rousers to get the kids all stirred up into some nonsense because they trying to interfere with the transfer of jurisdictional authority back to the proper jurisdiction, proprietary persona, sui juris. Right? We capable of handling our own affairs. We don't need any outside intervention anymore. Right? Now all they got to do is get it cleaned up because they got specific people they looking for, whether you know it or not. A lot of these people are mercenaries from different parts of the world. They might tell you they're looking for somebody from Venezuela or San Salvador, but they really looking for somebody from Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, China. Because, you know, a lot of us is unaware that on the Canadian side of the New York border, when this first happened during the lockdown, they bombed a military base that was privately owned by one of these billionaires, and it had over 120 Chinese soldiers. They didn't even have no females. And they had been sitting there, and several presidents before Trump seen them and didn't do anything. He told the military, erase them. So they erased them. Right? Because they was waiting as a sleeper cell to be activated. This is what you're seeing with the police station, the Chinese police station in New York. Why is it a Chinese-owned police station in New York? Because the police don't belong here in the first place, and they mad that somebody encroaching up on their fraud. The Chinese don't care. They're going to expose your ass.
Right. What about us homeschooling parents? How are we supposed to teach our story? Where would you begin?
Look, if you homeschooling, first you start with phonics to teach them the basics of reading, and you focus on their math. Then get the IQ reading program. Let them play with it on the computer so they can learn speed reading. Then turn their ass loose on the library. Let them listen to people that's telling us empowering stuff, and the ones that's tacky, trying to start shit every time they turn around, always tune out and tell them that the reason you don't want to listen to that because that rabble-rousing rhetoric is irrational. Because there's nobody over here right now finna run up on the U.S. military, including the militias that's set up to go against the military. They don't really want no smoke with the United States military.
Right.
Half of them is now tied in with the ones called white hats that believed in that oath to the Constitution to their death. They took the oath and they believe in that. So they standing on that, even though they know that the country who they took the oath to represent the Constitution for was in fraud. Now, only people that they have to do is give it to the rightful heirs, the rightful owners, which is us. But they can't do that unless a competent heir steps up and walk us through the process, through the oral tradition. Right? And that also serves as a teaching tool for the youth. So if you homeschooling, you know, you got books you can use to teach your history. Writers in our genre, children's books and young adults, right? I would start with, if you got a male child, The Destruction of Black Boys. That'll give you a good idea where to stand, how to focus your educational curriculum. Amos Wilson, Awakening the Psychological Genius of Black Child, right? Awakening the Natural Genius of the Black Child, right? So Amos Wilson got some good material for you to put your curriculum together based off his instructions.
Hey, bro, somebody said right before the last question, they said something about, you know anything about the connection, something going on with Nigeria and America now? I know they was invading Nigeria because they want, it's another country above that has some kind of natural resource. I heard somebody talk, I might have been Omar or somebody talking about they had some resource in this country that's close to Nigeria, and if they get in Nigeria, they can set up a situation now where they can muscle that material or mineral.
America, that kind of muscle, nothing in Africa.
Yeah, go ahead.
It would be foolish because they got enough to deal with at home. But let's go into a little bit of what's the military operations that was being held in Nigeria. They used the pretense of the Muslims slaughtering the Christians as the cover story, right? But what was really going on was some of these same billionaires that was getting money out of Venezuela was also getting lithium mine money out of northern Nigeria. And they wanted to cut off their financial ability to pay their private militaries because a lot of the private military commanders have already told the military that they won't have to fight. All they got to do is cut off the money. Because if we don't get paid, we don't work. They already had that agreement with the military. Military know who these people are because all of them came out of the military to set up their private military mercenary teams. And they was doing personal protection and security work. A lot of it was being done with celebrities and athletes and models and stuff, but they did a lot of it for political figures that was involved in dirt. And they was going to pay the private military when it was time for them to get arrested to fight the police. Well, they would be justified in fighting the police, but not the U.S. military. Because most of them knew that the police was a foreign occupying force, an extension to Interpol by way of the British Crown, and that they was just operating as a police force on the land. That's when they first came over. They came over as slave catcher, right? Slave catchers in Europe was called Slav catchers. This is why they end up changing the name to police, right? And it comes from I think it's a German word, Poliz, right? And this stands for micromanaging somebody, basically. So they sat here to watch us and tell us how to live on our land.
Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. I got Chief Cash App on the screen, and we got it because somebody asked about the PayPal. So that PayPal is the same, ain't it? Ain't that PayPal the same, bro?
It's
PayPal
at 6801.
Hold on, oh, this the wrong I copied the wrong thing on template. The template had PayPal on it. The template. Damn, I got the wrong template. Yeah. So what is it again, Rod?
At 6801.
Okay, I'm gonna type it in. That's the PayPal right there, y'all. For the people that was asking about the PayPal, just typed it in the comments. Man, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Another one, another textbook.
schooling, another night schooling by the chief. Yeah, so they send it out on the land, man. That the maps that they showing in the schools, that's a fraud, man. It's all fraudulent, man. They
Well,
copy with
we
the
trying to get
copyright.
them to take their babies out of these damn schools before they start back up with these sleepers.
Right. That's right. That's right.
All you gotta do is wait till the weather breaks. Soon as the weather breaks, it's gonna be some BS.
Yeah.
Soon as they get a break in this cold, it's gonna be some bullshit. Watch what I tell you.
Yeah, I feel it too. They got to keep us off beat or off guard, or just they got to keep hitting us and keep us in a state of panic and fear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you can't see clear. If you in a panic and if you scared, you can't see clear. Right? If let's say for instance you arachnophobe, you're scared of spiders, and somebody put out a big old giant spider that's not real. The fear factor is gonna make you believe that's the biggest, realest spider you ever seen in your life. It's gonna animate that spider. You're gonna see him jumping on you or something and take off. You out of there. Screaming. Right? Because the fear clouded your vision to there's no way a spider can be big as a house, big as a car.
Man.
Right? Because that's not the rules they under. They in the insect family for a reason. They can get pretty big, but they're not gonna be big as a dog. They might be big as a rat, but they won't be big as a dog.
I got you, lady. Hey, last question, Chief, before we get out of here. Somebody said, ask Chief, do you know anything about Hart Island? Hart Island, H-A-R-T, Hart Island.
I've heard of a place called Hart Island, but I never did any research on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go look into it for her. Hey, shout out Dr. Kia Pruitt was in the building tonight. Hey, go subscribe to her channel. Shout out all the chiefs on the land, all the matriarchs on the land that was in here tonight. Shout out Empress Rabbi, right? We back on the land, man. We been back up and running. We already kicked them out that little 10 by 10 they got when we staked our total pole. You know what I'm saying? They really don't got no more room. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro. You know what I'm saying?
We did it all through. We use the oral tradition to reveal the fraud to all of the tribes so that they all have an equal say in us reclaiming what's ours. We did it for the ones that like us, and we did it for the ones that don't like us. We did it for the ones that understood it and the ones that didn't understand it. Everybody has to have a right to their own birthright. Now, they don't have to accept it. When the government start calling you in for receiving your birthright and you think that I'm making this shit up, just don't go. Continue doing what you was doing, working your 9 to 5. But everybody else gonna be laughing at your ass. You should listen to that crazy ass nigga on the internet. He knew something. They know how to contact every one of us. If you don't believe it, you can't tell me you don't get no phone calls from government agencies asking you shit. Now, what made you call my phone number?
Right.
Who told you I had something to do with whatever it is you talking about? I don't care if it's the insurance people. I don't care if it's the credit people. Why is you calling me? I don't care if it's the debt collector. They know how to get in touch with you. Just like they know how to get in touch with you to take your shit, they need to know how to get in touch with you to give it back.
Right.
That's their responsibility. They the ones stole.
Yeah.
They the ones stole it. They the ones got to give it back. You can't. The person that didn't steal it can't give it back because he don't got it. Now, they said they stole the land, but every time I look out the window, the land's still there.
Right.
So they could have took the land, so it's still our land and we still here. Right? They didn't steal the land. They stole our mental understanding of our position on the land. That's all they stole. But we putting it back together. For the ones thinking crazy, we following the oral tradition. They said we had a right to do it our way. We had a right to self-identify and name ourselves. I don't have to use the tribal names of the ancient tribes. I can make up a whole new one now because I got the right to self-identify as a sovereign.
That's right.
I can call myself whatever in the blue fuck I want because I'm sovereign. I'm grown. I'm an adult. In clear body, clear mind, can make my own decisions about my own self and my family if need be. I know how to teach my children how to make competent decisions and they children's children. I know how to teach the whole nation from one place. Sooner or later, they gonna get it. I just take over the algorithm by constantly pounding them with the truth. Sooner or later, when the youth got it and they start pounding with the truth, we ain't gotta worry about it no more. Because they got more research acumen and tools than we ever had. I had to read snail pace hundreds of books that they can run through in a matter of a couple of days with modern technology and the way that they study. We got new ways of studying coming out, teaching them to maximize the understanding of the material by doing limited amount of studying. It's all there. From teaching them how to the shortcut math, the new math, the mega math, teaching them how to read, the mega reading. Right? If they can, like Cat Williams mentioned how many books he read, people laughed at him until they found out he was a speed reader. Right? If you want to see how fast a speed reader can read, look up Howard Steffenberg. And you will see that he can read a 1,000-page book in a matter of a couple of minutes. Look up the Evelyn Woods speed reading program that teaches you how to speed read. They've been studying speed reading and they teach it to the children of the so-called elites, but they don't teach it to our babies because they don't want them to be able to absorb too much information too fast. It might activate their guide force.
That's crazy.
Arrested development, K through motherfucking 12 and call it school. And with
Which
that,
is really hell.
said what I said. Take it for what it is. We're going to build a new tomorrow one way or another, whether they like it or don't like it. And it's going to be better than yesterday. Because it ain't no sense of building it if it's going to be worse. Ain't no sense of trying to change it if everybody going to keep trying to stay the same. If everybody willing to grow, evolve, and change into something better, we can do this as a collective and get this shit on over with. But as long as everybody want to be the only one, that's selfishness right there without the qualifications, though. If you did the work and you feel like you the only one, then you earned it. But most of them feel like they the only one and ain't earned it yet.
That's facts.
They ain't put in no work.
That's fact.
I tell people, they be thinking that I just do this shit on the internet. I teach people every day of my life since I can remember. If I get some new information, no matter where I'm at, I teach one of us the new information. Before I came out on behalf of Big Mama, I had been working with these dusty ass niggas for 20-something years. Some of them got rich because I help them write business plans. Right? Go home, man. Get out of here. Don't come back. That's all I want from you. I'm going to make sure you straight. I don't want you to take care of me. I want you to take care of your family, take care of yourself. I don't know, Big Rod. I don't feel right. I was like, you good? Once you get in the swing of things, you're going to forget I ever taught you anything because you're going to be too busy living it. And that's what's going to make me happy. I love to see people take what I gave them for free and capitalize on it. That just shows you the value of what's in me. You know? I didn't help guys get life bits back. Sitting down with them in the law library. So I've been putting in work a long time.
Right. And on that note,
Go ahead.
This just my final assignment. Go out there and wake up the youth and tell them we was already here.
And ain't no way around it, man. Ain't no way around it. Ain't no way around it.
We was already here, man. Ain't nothing they can do about it, bud.
Oh no, ain't a nigga. All right now, we're gonna wrap it on up. I got
All
time.
right, yeah. Hey, y'all. Peace, love, and harmony throughout the boundless universe to all. We love you all for coming to kick it with us tonight. Spread the word, the birds, the word. You know what I'm saying? We already we tearing them down. We tearing them apart limb by limb with truth, man. That's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? And we out, y'all. One love, one heart. Wadu.
Wadu.
Never have it been made so clear.